So, did y'all see the beef between T.I. and Azealia Banks this week that went on pretty much all week? You know, it started because Azealia Banks was talking about Tiny. T.I. has this new song called No Mediocre with Iggy Azalea, and Azealia Banks, who's always talking about everybody, was tweeting like, "Oh, you say no mediocre, but have you seen your wife?" Mm-hmm. So then T.I. went in and called her like a series of things: musty mouth, thought, a gremlin, yeah, everything. He called her everything. So what did you guys think about that?
I think it's kind of messing up his brand now, because I remember when his show initially came out, I was like, oh my God, I'm like so sweet on T.I. Now it's just like...
I agree. I thought it was like... Well, I agree with the aspect of like, if you have an issue with T.I., you should have the issue with T.I. Like, to bring Tiny into it, and then to basically publicly call her ugly, and then meth mouth, and all these things that she was saying once, after, he responded. It's like, what's the point of that? Like, because at the end of the day, even when you're just thinking on surface level, you just think it's funny. This is somebody's mother, and those kids are not like little kids. I used to be like a really big Azealia Banks fan, because I was listening to her stuff when I was still living in Chicago. But I found myself, which I said she didn't like, because she did come for us on Twitter before. That's what she does. That I felt like her penchant for drama overshadows everything else about her, and that's all people know. Back to the drawing board.
Jasmine?
I don't know. I feel like she's always coming for somebody, so maybe T.I. shouldn't have even responded to her. Like, why even give her that shine? You know what I mean?
T.I.'s response was funny, though. And it was funny, it was dead wrong, but it was also, like, really hilarious. And I feel like when you're talking about someone's wife, you really can't be surprised at anything he says. And she admitted that she shouldn't have said it. So it's like, if you know you were wrong and that's his wife, like, what did you expect?
Attention.
It's very clear that you are doing everything you do for attention.
But one thing that we did point out, was like, it's just interesting that T.I., it's like he defended Tiny so hard, and I respect that, because if he hadn't said anything, it would have been like, oh, that's jacked up. But at that same token, it's like, he disrespects Tiny all the time, and it's in a public space. So, just a little ironic,
Exactly.
Just think on that.
And speaking of doing things for attention, did you all see the Lady Gaga and R. Kelly music video?
Quite interesting.
What did you think about it?
I thought maybe because so many girls came forth accusing him of molestation, and then just to see him touching Lady Gaga, like alluding to that way, it's kind of skeevy. I didn't think of it. They're both very creative people, and I was just like, wow, it's just a very sexual music video. It's not.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to it, which I was surprised.
I know Jezebel called it like an advertisement for rape.
Oh.
Did you guys think it was that? Did you think it was that serious?
I mean, he said when you wake up, you're gonna be pregnant. Like, what the hell is that? It's just like,
that part totally went over my head.
why? Like, what?
I don't think he cares at all.
But what about people from Gaga's team? Like,
I don't know what that's about. I don't think anybody can tell her what to do either.
But you know what I was telling you yesterday? I feel like that is on some real, like, I'm just trying to get black people on my tracks, and I didn't do none of my research.
Oh, Lady Gaga.
Yes, because I feel like right now the thing is, like, everybody is getting like a Juicy J, or somebody, Justin Bieber's getting R. Kelly, and all these people are getting, these pop stars are trying to get these, well, not for Juicy J, but very popular or well-known black artists on their songs. And it's like, it takes a basic Google search to know that R. Kelly has all this stuff that people, these allegations against him. And the same for Terry Richardson, but she knew Terry Richardson. But it's like, so why all of a sudden is it like, now we can't put out this video because you are kind of a skeevy weirdo?
It's not even a sexual song. She initially stated that the song is about people bullying her on Twitter about when, she gained weight and she had that surgery. So I thought maybe she would have put a spin on that. Like, more like a creative thing in a gym, or I don't know, like something. But really, you have an R. Kelly touch you?
It's just weird. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And I don't know why she would want to do that.
That's a good song. Still talented, so she'll figure it out.
Hope so. R. Kelly's not the way to go.
Right. Oh, no.
And speaking of people who are connected to R. Kelly, the Aaliyah biopic, people are not really feeling it at all. And things erupted this week because, how do you pronounce the girl's name?
I don't know, Zendaya?
Zendaya
Coleman.
was cast as Aaliyah, and people were just like livid.
I think the biopic should have been a movie, not a, at-home kind of film, which I do love Lifetime for those movies, but at the same time, I feel like Aaliyah is so iconic, especially in the Black community. Baby girl, rest in peace. So I just think that it should have been done in a different direction. And in terms of the casting, I don't necessarily see anything wrong with it, but she is lighter skin, that's the thing. Like,
Is she, you think?
I think she's lighter than Aaliyah. Like, you're going to have to tan her up a little bit, and I think that's kind of...
She and Aaliyah like favor.
She just needs to darken her hair.
Yeah, I think their skin complexion is not as far off as like Anita Simone and Zoe Saldana. Their skin complexion is pretty close.
She's like, I'm not seeing it.
You get to blow a picture. Aaliyah's light. She was very light. She just had dark hair.
Always. Back in the day, nobody liked when people got cast for biopics, but there wasn't social media, so we didn't hear it that much. Now it's like, oh, they did that. Girl, hate it, don't want to see it, and nothing has happened yet.
But they'll still watch.
Of course. If you got Lifetime, why wouldn't you? You're going to set your alarm clock and watch, whatever. But I think definitely, I don't know. I think that she's very talented, Zendaya. I've seen her dance, and I feel like she could pull off those moves from those videos. Because to me, it's like, we'll just see what happens, Because even if they don't look spot on in their own pictures like Aaliyah, I mean, they're not supposed to look just like her. I mean, there's nobody. Unless you get her family, you're not going to find somebody that looks exactly like her. But I think given the chance, she will, do a good job. My only thing is, what are you going to talk about in the movie? Are you going to talk about her dating Damon Dash? Because I know they're probably going to stay far away from the whole R. Kelly thing.
They have to. Because it's like, legally, it's like closed.
Right. But what are you going to, so you're going to talk about that later part of her life? You're going to talk about the last months of her life? You're going to talk about the last year when she started acting? Because she wasn't no little girl anymore. And so that's what's confusing to me. Like, are we just going to brush this whole big part of her life away and just be like, when Aaliyah first came out and you're dancing and singing and yay, and then we're gonna fast forward to to what? I'm not saying Aaliyah didn't do anything, but I mean,
but she doesn't have really any, aside from R. Kelly and Damon Dash, she doesn't really have any scandal.
Right, and she didn't get to accomplish really, really big things yet because she was so young. Like, she got to do some movies, but it wasn't like she was able to have be a mother or get married to him or anything like that. So I'm just wondering, not to hate, but I'm just wondering I'm interested to see what the plot will be.
I wanted to touch on something you mentioned earlier. Do you think she deserves to be in the theaters, in a feature film versus Whitney?
I think both need to be in a feature film, and I love Whitney, so she needs to be in a feature film, but I feel like if you have family members not backing you up, of course it's just gonna go to Lifetime. No shade, but it's like somebody's gonna do it and they're gonna do it Lifetime, VH1, great channels, but you guys are not gonna be a part of it. It's not gonna be a featured film, and I think they both have awesome legacies, so they're not really getting the props that they deserve in terms of film.